Let's talk about this emoji, the loudly crying face. It was born in 2010, created by the Unicode consortium, the people who decide which emojis get to exist. They designed it with a very specific purpose: extreme sadness. Two streams of tears flooding down the face. Mouth wide open in anguish. Eyes squeezed shut in pain. This emoji was for heartbreak, for grief, for the worst moments of your life. And at first, people used it exactly that way. Your relationship ends. Someone you love passes away. You fail something important. All of these moments, same emoji. The crying face. Simple, clear, effective. The crying emoji knew its job, and it did it well. But then, something weird happened. Somewhere around 2015, people started using the crying emoji wrong. Not for sadness, for laughter. Someone would post a hilarious meme and boom, crying face in the comments. Wait, what? There's already an emoji for laughing. The one with tears of joy. That's literally what it's designed for. But apparently, that one wasn't extreme enough. The laughing emoji felt polite, controlled, like a chuckle at a dinner party. The crying emoji felt extreme, like you were losing your mind, like you couldn't breathe, like tears were literally streaming down your face from laughing too hard. So Gen Z and millennials looked at this sad, heartbroken emoji and said, "Perfect. This is exactly how I feel when someone roasts their own life in a tweet." And just like that, the crying emoji became the ultimate reaction to chaos. The Unicode consortium probably didn't see that coming. They created an emoji for funerals and breakups. We turned it into the emoji for viral TikToks. Oops. Here's the thing though. The crying emoji didn't stop meaning sadness. It just became everything. Emotional overload. Too funny. Too painful. Too relatable. Too real. Let me show you. I just tripped in front of my crush. Is this person sad? No. They're mortified, embarrassed, but also kind of laughing at themselves. The crying face captures all of that at once. Then there's this. My boss just asked me to work this weekend. Okay, this one is sad, but it's also dramatic. Exaggerated despair. Like my life is over. It's theatrical suffering. Or what about, this meme is too accurate. Not sad at all. Just painfully relatable. So relatable it actually hurts. So you cry. Here's another one. I can't believe I said that out loud. Pure regret. Cringe. But also kind of funny in hindsight. 3 crying faces for maximum effect. And this classic, my flight got delayed 6 hours. Frustration. Exhaustion. Mild despair. But not real sadness. Just the universe being inconvenient. One more. When you study all night and still fail. Academic devastation. But also kind of expected. Like, yeah, that tracks. The crying emoji becomes shorthand for my life is a comedy of errors. See the pattern? The crying emoji is doing emotional gymnastics now. It's sadness. It's laughter. It's cringe. It's frustration. It's, I can't deal with this right now. It's the Swiss Army knife of reactions. One emoji with 1,000 meanings. Here's something wild that might explain why this works. Crying and laughing? They're basically the same thing physically. No, seriously. Both involve tears streaming down your face. Both make your body shake. Both involve loss of control. Both are emotional release mechanisms. Your brain registers intense emotion. Doesn't matter if it's joy or sadness, and your body responds the same way. Tears, convulsions, heavy breathing. So when someone says, "I'm crying," while watching a funny video, they might actually be crying, or at least experiencing the same physical sensation. That's why the crying emoji works for both. It's not that we're using it wrong. It's that crying itself is complicated. Tears don't always mean sadness. Sometimes they mean, this is too much for my brain to process. And honestly, that's what most of the internet is. Too much to process. So we cry, or we laugh, or we do both. And we send the crying emoji because it captures that exact feeling of emotional overload. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Different generations use this emoji completely differently. And I mean completely. Boomers and Gen X? They still think the crying emoji means actual crying. Real sadness. Your mom sends the crying face when she's genuinely upset about something. When she's had a bad day. When something disappointing happens. She uses it the way it was intended. But Gen Z? Gen Z sends this emoji 12 times in a row when a TikTok is funny. Stop, I'm crying. 12 crying emojis lined up like soldiers marching into battle. No, they're not crying. They're laughing. Their eyes are dry. They're smiling. probably lying in bed scrolling at 2 a.m. But they say they're crying anyway. And millennials? We're caught in the middle. We use it both ways and hope people understand from context. Sad text? Crying emoji means sad. Funny meme? Crying emoji means hilarious. Chaotic life update. Crying emoji means I don't even know anymore. This creates some truly confusing conversations. Imagine this. Your Gen X aunt texts, "The dog is sick. We had to take her to the vet." You, a millennial, respond, "Oh no. I hope she's okay. Praying for her." Your Gen Z cousin sees the same message and thinks, "Why is everyone being so dramatic? The dog probably just ate something weird." Classic dog behavior. 3 generations. 1 emoji. 3 completely different interpretations. That's the chaos we're living in. Oh, and it gets weirder. The crying emoji doesn't even look the same across different platforms. On Apple, it's bright yellow with perfect tear streams. Looks genuinely distressed. On Samsung, slightly different expression, a bit more cartoonish. On Google, different again. On Microsoft, don't even get me started. Some versions look devastated. Some look mildly annoyed. Some look like they're having a mild inconvenience rather than an emotional breakdown. So not only does the meaning change based on who's using it and why they're reusing it, the actual visual representation changes depending on what phone you have. This emoji is having an identity crisis on multiple levels. The crying emoji really cemented its new identity when it became a meme itself. Remember when "I'm crying" became internet slang for "this is hilarious"? That phrase spread like wildfire around 2016. Someone would tweet something absurd and the replies would flood in. "I'm crying, I'm dead, I can't breathe." All phrases that technically mean something terrible is happening. But in reality, people were just laughing. The crying emoji became the visual shorthand for that entire phenomenon. It represented a cultural shift in how we talk about humor online. We don't say "that's funny" anymore. We say "I'm crying." We don't say "I'm laughing." We say "I'm dead." We describe humor in terms of emotional or physical devastation. And the crying emoji is the mascot for that entire movement. It's not just an emoji anymore. It's a cultural symbol, a representation of how the internet processes humor through the language of suffering. Deep, right? Or maybe we're all just dramatic. Probably that. So what does the crying emoji actually mean in 2025? Honestly, it means, "I'm feeling too much right now." That's it. Whatever emotion you're experiencing, if it's at level 10, you send the crying face. Sad, crying emoji. Happy, crying emoji. Shocked, crying emoji. Dying laughing, crying emoji. Dying inside, also crying emoji. Confused? Believe it or not, also crying emoji. This emoji has transcended its original purpose. It's no longer about the tears. It's about the intensity. The crying emoji is now the universal symbol for "I have lost control of my emotions and I don't know what else to say." It's the emotional equivalent of throwing your hands up and surrendering to the chaos. And honestly, that's kind of beautiful. In a world where everything feels like too much all the time, we have an emoji that just says, "Yeah, I know. Me too." Imagine for a second that the crying emoji could actually speak. Imagine it sitting in a therapy session trying to explain its life. "Doctor, I don't know who I am anymore. I was created for sadness. That was my purpose. But now people use me when they're happy, when they're laughing, when they see a dog doing something cute. I've lost all sense of self." The therapist would probably say, "But aren't you more versatile now? More useful?" And the crying emoji would respond, "Sure, but at what cost? I used to have a clear identity. Now I'm just everything. I'm the emotional catch-all, the universal response. I have no boundaries anymore." And how does that make you feel? Like I'm crying. But I don't even know if that means I'm sad, or if I'm laughing, or if I'm just existing in a state of perpetual emotional confusion. Interesting. And how would you express that feeling? The crying emoji would pause, then slowly raise a tiny yellow hand, point to itself, and say nothing. Because what else is there to say? If the designers at Unicode could see what happened to their creation, what would they think? They designed an emoji for mourning, for grief, for holding space for the hardest human emotions. And we turned it into the emoji we send when someone posts a funny dog video. They probably didn't see that coming. But here's the truth. Emojis don't belong to their creators. They belong to us. And we do whatever we want with them. The crying emoji was supposed to mean one thing. But language evolves. Communication changes. And emojis are just tiny little symbols trying to keep up with the chaos of human emotion. You can't control language. You can't predict how people will use your creation. You can design something with perfect clarity and precision, and people will still find a way to make it mean something completely different. That's not a bug. That's humanity.